Yo, YouTube, this is Agent R. We're back with a duellinks video, and the KCGT is upon us, and I'm exploring some new decks, cards I finally got my hands on. So I'm messing with Odd Eyes, and what you're gonna see from this is that I am totally obsessed with getting out the Magician combo, the skill, so that I can set up plays. We can get the Odd Eyes out. We can get the Dark Dragon Doom Rider. We can get Big Eye. That's all I want to do. So over on twitch.tv, the last thing that I did was we were going through and doing some pack opening and got a lot more of the cards. I don't think I have all the perfect ratios. I'm still missing an Odd Eyes itself, but as you can see on the left side of the screen, we're doing some compensation for that to make sure that we get that combo no matter what, especially when you're coming up against stuff like Triple D. Of course, I threw an Unending Nightmare in here as well. You're going to see me use that card a lot. Ever since it really stole the show for me in a tournament, I always run that card. But let's get on to some replays. As you can see here, I did switch the deck up a bit. My favorite play is actually swinging with Odd Eyes to get the double damage. So a lot of this, if I remember, you're going to see me using World Legacy Clash, but I do end up, I use that to get their opponent's monster's attack as low as possible. But you're going to see me switch that at some point from World Legacy Clash to Concentrated Current, only because if their field is open, I still want to deal lethal damage. It seems like a straight shot with World Legacy, but you still need at least 3 cards involved in that scenario versus using Concentrated Current and only having 2, and it still has the same effect. So, oh, there's another Unending Nightmare that I'm going to play to keep back row down, just blow everything up. Alright, we're going to wipe out. Alright, we're just going to do this play again. I love this combo. Right. Back out, back out. Second Donkey is going to grab Skull Corvette Joker. We're going to normal summon that to get the effect to grab another Odd Eyes Pendulum. We're always going for Odd Eyes, and it's just too much. Okay, this hand is kind of scuffed, but we're going to make the most of it. We go ahead and activate the Magical Spring off of the Yami. And we end up getting Skull Corvette Joker to get the combo. So again, this is everything is for turn 1 because I don't know about you, but most time when I play, I'm always going first. So everything is set up for turn 1 to in some way try to get something to pop off. So Magical Spring gives us Skull Corvette. Skull Corvette's going to give us the Odd Eyes Pendulum. We can get the skill going. And at this point, it's just on autopilot, and we're going to set up. Now, double set. Now, I haven't done it yet, but I am going to add Lance to this as well. World Legacy Clash, we're going to hop off. Okay, come on back, and I mean, that should be it. No matter what happens at this point. Oh, Treacherous Trap Hole. There we go, there's the Lance. Nope. Take some big damage. Lance is going to be so key in this KCGT, just in the current format itself, right? For I don't know why Treacherous Trap Hole is still in the game. Nami, please get rid of that card, or bring back Patronate. Triamid Pulse. Gonna banish 2. That's a unique play. Gonna bring back Triamid Master to shift around, bring out King Golem, and then bring out the Sphinx. But then we activate again World Legacy Clash to lower that beast down to 15. That's going to double the damage. And that's all she wrote. Every time I see Pegasus, I'm always thinking of Nekroz now. Is it Nekroz or nekroz? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but... Oh, well, there we go. That's exactly what they're using. Right? So we're going to activate a Nekroz Cycle. Sure, it is going to be the Tribute. I don't think they're doing a gun gear. gun here. Oh, ugh. Gonna grab a Trisha. Alright, so we have the Spiral Flame Strike now. I'm so happy we have 3 up finally. Gonna grab the Odd Eyes. Let's do the combo. It's like this guy when I was living in Virginia at Wendy's. Always like, you wanna try combo? I'm like, bro, what combo? What does that mean? Alright. So he's gonna activate, get rid of my Magician. And see, there you go. We switched it up this time. And instead of doing concentrating, we're just gonna instead of World Legacy, we're just gonna activate Concentrating Current and swing over, just like that. Okay, so let's take a look at my Odd Eyes deck as I have built it with what is available to me. So I'm gonna start with the extra deck this time. We have the Meteor Burst, and of course that's going to stop monster effects during the battle phase. But I am more interested in its ability to summon the chunky Magician from the Pendulum zone, so from the scale, so that we can actually get to negate light monster effects, as well as just have another high attack monster on the board. I've only gone into Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon's effect one time. I thought I had a replay of it, but apparently I wrote over it. Anyway, what you do is you summon, of course, your Darkest Dragon Doom Rider, and with this Magician's effect, you can essentially make this a level instead of a rank. And then you go ahead and summon an Odd Eyes or an Arc Pendulum or an Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. And then you go into another Xyz, and if you do it that way, then the Odd Eyes Rebellion, well, most importantly of its effect, it will wipe out all of the monsters your opponent controls and inflict 500 damage for each card destroyed. And then, if it does that, it can make 3 attacks during each battle phase. So it's you know, it's very niche, or even say gimmicky, but if you need it, it's there. You can always summon this monster without doing all of that and get a 3000 attack monster as well on top. So we have an Abyss Dweller. If you're any deck you're running, please, if you have an Abyss Dweller, run Abyss Dweller. And if you don't have it, it is not a bad UR to use a Dream Ticket on. Okay, when you have all of these decks running around, especially Burning Abyss, you're gonna want to set up an Abyss Dweller. You even want to use Abyss Dweller against other water players, because when the meta resets or when a tournament arises, Water Exceeds players always rise up. So, and it's a good card to stop all of the Diva combos. Big Eye is finally in the game, number 11. And this card is amazing because you just steal your opponent's monster, right? It's not for the turn, it literally is a stick up. Steal it, Theft 101, number 11, Big Eye, and it's a 2600 attack monster. You can't attack the turn that you do that, but I mean, we're talking about taking over an opponent's, triple D or something like that. So it's kind of irrelevant, that drawback. Doom Rider, of course, is in here as a nice card. A dragon, 2 level 7s. It can blow up a monster on the field and then give a monster on your side the attack of that monster's original level times 300. Alright, so we have Malev Sin, of course, just for the temporary banish. I mean, that can get you the OTK you need sometimes. And then Steel Swarm Roach. Stop pendulums. It's going to deal with the Gandoras running around in tournament and just in the ladder in general. So that is all of the extra deck. I think it's pretty set. If you have anything that you would switch up in the extra deck, leave it in the comments below. Now, as far as the main deck, I'm going to mention this. I switched from World Legacy Clash to Concentrating Current because they're both at 2, okay? Concentrating Current only needs your monster involved with that setup for your odd eyes for the double damage. For the World Legacy, you need your dragon and then you need your opponent's monster. So it's just easier to rip a concentrating current out and then activate it in like just at damage calc. And for the most part, no one's going to be able to stop that. I have Lance for the protection. This is, I feel, a must in this format going into the tournament. If you can squeeze them in there, if your deck can't extend like Burning Abyss, you know what I mean? Like Abyss Dweller can stop the graveyard effects, but Burning Abyss will still extend. If you don't have that, you need Lance. Finally got my hands on triple Spiral Flame Strike. It can destroy a card on the field if you have an Odd Eyes, but we're really just using it to get our hands on Odd Eyes from the deck to set up skill, which lets us take our magicians from our deck, place them in the scale, set them, and then do Pendulum Summon. One Pendulum Dragon, honestly, if I had a third of these, I, in most cases, would just take this one. And we have Skull Acrobat Joker on its normal summon. It can grab a Performer Pal, Magician, or Odd Eyes, and we're usually always going for Odd Eyes in that scenario. Its Pendulum effect is very restrictive, so in this deck it'd be okay, but you definitely want to watch that if you're using it in some kind of other hybrid. This guy here can target face-up exceeds and then use its rank as a level, so we discussed that earlier. This one here can target a face-up exceeds and 1 level 5 or higher, and then they essentially, it's like a you know, I guess like an onboard level dupe, and that way you can use that in conjunction with this magician, and then you can have an Exceed summon. Second donkey is going to search for a Performer Pal, Skull Acrobat Joker here, and rounding this out, we have Noble Dragon Magician, which will, for our 7s, make a 4 and a 3 so that we can set up the Synchro Summon for Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. And last, again, touching base on Pendulum Call, this is just for extra measure of thinning out the deck. And if the opponent has a full board set up, then this will also help Pendulum Summon whatever we have in our hand, as long as we don't have more cards than the opponent does on the field. So this is the deck that I have put together. It has served me quite well. I do plan on using it quite extensively moving forward. I love the Odd Eyes build. It's really fun. It's expensive, but it is a fun deck. I mean, I have what, 1, 2, 4, 8, 10 URs. Everything's a UR and the SR, save for this one magician over here. I mean, even the extra, that's the same way. So if you got it, flaunt it, have fun with it. Let's get back into the replay. Okay, so we have an Arcana player. I haven't seen one in a while. Curious as to what they might actually be running now. Alright, so if you didn't see it over the side, I do have Pendulum Call. Now you have to be careful with this card, because if you set up the magicians as is, and say they only had one monster on the field or one card on the field, you wouldn't be able to Pendulum Summon, because is it this guy or the other one? The other magician states that if you have more cards than your opponent, the scale becomes, I think, 4. So when you use Pendulum Call, this is really for deck thinning. Okay, the skill will always get you what you need, but you can discard and then add 2 Magician Pendulums. And the good part is that until the end of the opponent's next turn, after it resolves, those cards cannot be destroyed by card effects. I don't see a lot of Cosmic Cyclones running around, but it's a good way to set up a protect as well. And I actually forgot about this card, and when we were pulling packs, we came back across it. So shout outs to Dragon, who was hanging out in Twitter, over in Discord. Make sure you come and join and hang out with us there. We were just going over how good the card can still be in this deck, but you just have to keep that caveat in mind. So we're gonna activate. We're gonna grab the Odd Eyes. It's so consistent, right? Yeah, I think it's this one. Shang Xing Magician. Let's see. Yeah, while you control more cards than your opponent does, this card's pendulum scale becomes 4. So you gotta watch that. But we're gonna grab the Noble Dragon as well. Let's Pendulum Shokan. Alright, bring out Eyes. And we're gonna bring out the Arc. Now we're gonna use the skill for the Noble Dragon. Now we're gonna go ahead and go into our Meteor Burst. Meteor Burst is gonna bring this out. Oh, and what do you know? It's wide. This is perfect. Look at this. All right, I forgot about this. So I'm gonna try to swing directly, and I don't think it really matters at what point you use this, but I did wait until the last minute. We're gonna go ahead and cut off the effect, and when that happens, because they're still swinging, we haven't changed any monsters on the field. So this isn't about resetting the attack, like, oh, I'll choose not to attack. No, you have to choose a target now. And there you go. Perfect lethal. Get that watch cheese out of here.